and we are excited. I just got a message that you couldn't hear me, so hopefully now you can hear me. And I welcomed you for the event and got excited about what we're going to be talking about, which again is how administrators are using technology to keep meaningful connections during the surging Delta wave. So I know it's something that everyone here has been very excited and involved in talking about. So thank you, Jen, for letting me know you can hear me now. I appreciate it. All right, well, let's get started. I am Sandra Parker again, and I will be moderating this webinar for you and kind of moving us along with the process. But we are very lucky this afternoon to have two fabulous guest speakers who are also going to give us some insight into the subject we are discussing. First up, we have Mary Arthur, who is from Rappahannock-Westminster Canterbury. Now, Mary Arthur is a dementia care coordinator at Rappahannock-Westminster Canterbury. She's a certified dementia practitioner and an expertise level of dementia care trainer and certified consultant through Teepa Snow's organization, The Positive Approach to Care. Mary is a community educator and support group facilitator for the Alzheimer's Association. She was awarded the 2019 Power of Purpose Award for Leading Age, and she uses her voice as an Alzheimer's advocate, pushing local and state legislators to pass laws that are going to help caregivers and those living with dementia. She successfully implemented an engagement technology program, resulting in a 76% decrease in antipsychotic drug use, among other benefits. And today she's going to be sharing her tips and tricks that can be used to enhance engagement and connectedness in senior living communities. We also are very lucky to have with us Stacie Amedio-Alpert. She is from Boston Senior Home Care. Now, Stacie is a licensed social worker who has been in the field of human services for more than 20 years. She's been working with the aging population since 2010 and joined Boston Senior Home Care in 2016. Stacie is a senior program manager for the Caregiver Solutions program. That's a program that supports those who are caring for their loved ones in the community for as long as possible. Now, Caregiver Solutions is designed to support each unique caregiving journey by empowering caregivers with information and resources to help them provide exceptional care while ensuring that they take care of their own needs as well as their well-being. Thank you both for being with us this afternoon. We're excited to get with you. Now, before we do, I want to kind of go over some of the webinar topics that we are going to be discussing. First off, we're going to talk about evidence-based methods to provide virtual care. Now, this is virtual care for us and senior engagement support. This is for patients during COVID-19 restrictions, because as we all know, that did prohibit a lot of in-person care, but there is virtual care that you can do and technology that can be used. We're also going to show you how bringing simple, affordable senior engagement options to your clients can make your whole team's job easier, and it can provide a competitive advantage, improving efficiencies and also increasing margins. You're going to want to hear about that. We'll talk about that a little later on. We'll also discuss the best practices for deploying evidence-based senior-friendly technologies and how they can improve patient outcomes. And we are going to get started with Stacie. Now, Stacie, you are in home care, and you obviously had to deal with some serious limitations when COVID hit.
Sure. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. As Sandra mentioned, I worked for Boston Senior Home Care, specifically with the Caregiver Solutions program. So we're working with caregivers who are, sometimes they're working out of the home, sometimes they're in the home. The people they're caring for might live with them, might not. So we've got a lot of unique situations that we're trying to work with all of them. So when the pandemic hit, everything shut down very quickly, and we were dealing with a lot of uncertainty. And as things progressed, we realized that the situation was not going to end anytime soon. So we had to take a close look at how the pandemic was affecting our consumers and what we could do to help. One of those major things that was being impacted was adult day health. They were closed all over the country, as you know, and we had a lot of people going to them. And the fact that they weren't able to go anymore was quickly resulting in our elders becoming socially isolated. We're seeing increased depression, and in some severe cases, just overall deterioration of some of our elders. So we knew we needed to find a way to help combat that. Another impact that we were seeing was overburdened caregivers. caregivers typically get a little bit of respite. Maybe that respite is going to work. And during the pandemic, people weren't going to work. A lot of people, some of us still did, but many weren't working. So they were home all day, potentially home all day with their person that they're caring for, as well as maybe throw some kids into the mix that are now trying to do schooling from home. And we were just seeing a lot of overburdened caregivers. We needed to find a way to help our caregivers decompress, get a little bit of time to themselves, whether that be occupying their own time or occupying the time of the person they're caring for. So we're just really trying to combat that burnout however possible. So between the adult day health closing, the overburdened caregivers, and then just the social isolation as a whole, we were seeing that lack of stimulation. Without interaction from family and friends, people visiting some of our care recipients who lived alone, maybe even their in-home aides weren't coming to see them anymore. We were starting to see that decline, that face-to-face interaction, as if we didn't already know the value of that, we were really seeing the value of it once it wasn't there. So we needed to be able to help people stay connected. As I mentioned, we have all types of caregivers, some that live together, some that don't. And for those that didn't live together, they weren't able to see each other as often because of COVID, and they were either not going at all or they were going very infrequently just to try to cut down on any risk. So previous to COVID, we did not have any type of a technology in place. So we really had to pivot. We needed to figure out, what can we do? How can we help all those needs I just mentioned? So we did an in-depth market analysis of the different types of technologies that are out there. And we ultimately chose Birdsong and implemented the Birdsong tablet right before the winter of 2020. So as you know, we saw another surge at that time. So we kind of got in just in time to be able to help some of those issues we were seeing. And I'll go into it more in depth in a little bit, but just to mention some of the selling points, if you will, of Birdsong, where it's ease of use, it's super user friendly, all types of people who can use it. There's so many features on there, so there's really something for everyone. Birdsong has its own tech support, so that's huge. And like I said, I'll go into that more in depth later. Birdsong offers a dedicated team member to your agency as a point of contact, which is huge as well. And then they're willing to work with you to customize the tablet to meet the needs of whatever your population is. So those are just a few of the selling points that really, really tied us in with Birdsong. So I'm going to pass it to Mary now to talk about her experience.
Hello, everyone. So thank you for tuning in. I work at a long-term care facility, so things were a little bit different for us. As soon as everything was shut down, we immediately started to see our residents decline both cognitively and physically. And it was really tough to keep them engaged when they were quarantined in their own small room. And so, we already had the tablets implemented when COVID happened, but the moment that we knew that visitations were shut down and things were going to change drastically, we started exploring how we could use them even more. And so it opened up our world to the tablets, using them in our residents' rooms and even in the home setting. And so, in our long-term care community, we do have independent living, assisted living, the nursing home, and we implemented the tablets in all areas of living. We really did see people, beat depression and anxiety using the tablet. So it was such a beneficial part of our, just connecting our residents throughout COVID.
And Mary, having the Birdsong in place before all this hit, how beneficial was that?
It was super beneficial because we were already used to the tablets. And the Birdsong Corporation really helped us along the way with understanding, the other usages that we weren't really using at the time. And so it was really important and beneficial to our community to already have them in place, but then really opening our world and our residents' world to all of the possibilities on the tablets.
So more really, you kind of expanded your usage of the Birdsong, I guess.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. And also, before we go further, folks, I do want to remind you that if you're obviously you're going to be hearing some things and learning more about the Birdsong. If at any time throughout this webinar you do have a question, there is a question and answer button. Just hit that button and send us your questions, because there will be time at the end of all of this when we will be answering your questions. So please, feel free to do that anytime throughout this webinar. Mary, is there anything else that you want to say about how much the Birdsong and having it in place during or before COVID, if any of that can help you figure out, like getting through all of this? It sounds like you had the Birdsong had some great impact on your residents, just being a part of making that connection for them.
Yes, definitely. And I think that, we saw a huge decline in all, from eating to sleeping to just anxiety, depression, and utilizing the tablets in ways that, you're thinking outside the box, you're figuring out what works for your residents in your own facility. But for ours, we're going to go into it a little deeper in a minute, but for our residents, it was really staying connected to either their family unit, their church home, different groups and organizations they've been a part of their whole life. It was really essential to have the tablets already in place. And it just helped our residents thrive and, keep going throughout COVID.
Yes, it gave them another way, I guess, to connect when those family visitations, like you said, were shut down and they were having to kind of be more isolated themselves. So that's wonderful that you were able to have that connection and also to have the background, having the Birdsong in place already. So
yes, definitely.
Kind of neat though how it expanded your use of the Birdsong though. That's kind of interesting. Well, you know what, we do want to talk a little bit about a study that we did with that Eastern Virginia Medical School did on the impact of Birdsong usage. So this kind of goes to some of what Mary Arthur was saying that she found, and also some things that Stacie discovered as well. So here was the question that was posed. Can technology engage older adults and improve their quality of life? So the robust random control trial that took place, it was a partnership really with Eastern Virginia Medical School and Westminster Canterbury on Chesapeake Bay. So here is what this study discovered. First off, there was almost a 21% decrease in caregiver stress. And for all of you in the medical field, you know what a huge blessing that is. Now, there was also a decrease in depression of more than 55%. And during these times of isolation, that is huge. Also, here's something that was very, very interesting. The increase in cognition, almost 7% increase in cognition. It's all the things that Birdsong offers for the folks who were using it to do. It gave them got their brains kind of more active. And there was also, believe it or not, a decrease in blood pressure. So there were lots of benefits with this study. So to tell you a little bit more about the study, the background on the study itself, what we did is we had the tablets that were used 10 hours per week per resident. So this is the study itself looked at the usage of the tablets for 10 hours per resident. So, and we watched to see where they went on the tablets, how they utilized it, and the people who utilized it with them, such as the caregivers. We were getting comments like you see there on your screen. It made my job easier. And I would imagine that every one of you would love to hear that from the folks that work with you, to know that their job was made easier by the Birdsong. Also, here's something else that was discovered. When family came to visit, this was obviously the test done pre-COVID, but when family came to visit, it was a great way for them to engage with each other through the Birdsong. You would have grandchildren coming in and they'd be like, what is this? And asking their grandparents. And so they would discover that the Birdsong had games. And so they would play games with their family. They would interact with their family. They could look at pictures and videos. And it was a great way for families to connect. So just to give you an idea on the progression of Birdsong, just so you know the path that has been taken to get to the point where we are now, it was 2015 that the launch of that study that I just shared with you, the Birdsong research study, was made. And then in 2016, Education and Research Award that was given to the Birdsong by Leading Age. So that's a pretty big award, and very excited to win that. As well as in 2017, that was when the tablet itself was launched. So the 2016 award was for the Birdsong research study, and that's when, because of all that was discovered in the study, we realized that, hey, let's put this together and make it reasonably priced for people to use this, because this is great technology that's helping people. So because of that, in 2018, we received the Gold in McKnight's Excellence in Technologies Award. And in 2019, ASA gave us the Mind Alert Award for brain health of older adults. And in 2020, we launched a global web app. This app, it was launched really because of COVID. We were looking at ways. We knew the Birdsong helped for people who were in communities and how we could help people who were at home, but not everyone had it in their hands yet. So we needed to figure out a way to help people to connect. And that is when we launched the global web app and let people use it for free. We let them try it so they could see just how beneficial it was. And it was amazing. People really, really enjoyed that connection. And as you heard from Mary Arthur and Stacie, they were so thankful to have a way to communicate with people. And then in 2021, we offered the Birdsong Tutor. As Stacie talked about, what some of the things that caregivers were having to do, not just take care of older adults, but also children who were home, they were having to school them. So the Birdsong Tutor helped to connect seniors with students who might need help in subjects. And so they were able to connect and help them on different subjects, math or English, things like that. And that garnered some national recognition from CNBC as well as CNN. So let's talk a little bit now about senior loneliness and engagement, some of the diverse interests that require really diverse solutions. And I'm going to let Mary and Stacie handle this. You both have had such great experience using the different apps on Birdsong. Stacie, do you want to start?
Sure. So I'll start right at the top there with video calls. They are crucial in a lot of ways. So in my setting, which is a community setting, for those caregivers who weren't living with their care recipients, we provided a tablet for both the caregiver and care recipient so that they could both be using the tablet, which communicates between tablets, so that they could talk. There's also many other platforms to do video calls, such as Zoom and Skype and all that kind of stuff. But we're trying to make it as easy as possible. Use the tablet, talk to the other tablet, and that proved to really be helpful for caregivers, especially. It gave them the peace of mind when they couldn't otherwise see their loved one, to be able to not only see them but have that conversation with them. As far as photo sharing, so this tablet's really fun in the way that family members can use that website to upload pictures, and it'll go right onto the tablet of their loved ones. So they'll be able to see events that maybe they couldn't attend, a birthday party, a wedding, whatever the case might be. They'll be able to see photos from that, or they could see any photos really. So I know Mary had shared an experience about a loved one who had put pictures from when a resident was much younger on there. And then the aides, the people working with this resident, were able to kind of see their life in a different way, which is really fun. So the photo sharing has been great as well. Games, there's tons of games on this device. There's really something for everyone in the game section. There's solitaire, trivia, puzzles, anything to keep you mentally stimulated, keep you busy, your hands occupied, whatever the case may be. It's just, there's a lot of game options on there, which are great.
And Stacie, another thing to mention on there is when the residents and facilities have actual puzzles in hand, you always come up with the missing one or two puzzle pieces. But on the tablet, you don't have to deal with the missing puzzle pieces.
That is a point.
They're all on the tablet, and there's not one hidden in a pocket or stuffed somewhere else, so it's really beneficial to have all of the games right there on the tablet for your residents. I know for like our facility for long-term care, video calls were so essential for just quality of life. You know, when everything shut down and our residents couldn't see their family members or sometimes even their spouse that they had been with for, 60 years, this was a way to connect them to their family unit. And even those residents like over 80 that tell you they'll never touch a computer, the moment they see a loved one on that screen, they're engaging. It was really neat to see. We connected residents with brothers or sisters that are also in another long-term care agency, across the state or across the country. And so it was like family reunions all of the time, getting connected and being able to see their loved one that they hadn't seen even way before COVID. And then there was a way to get all of the family members in one place at a time. We have several residents that have children around the world and hadn't been in one spot together in a long time. So with the video calls, it was really important for our residents to just connect with their family units. We immediately started to see smiles on their faces. They're eating more. And so it was wonderful. And as Stacie was saying with photo sharing, it's really thinking outside the box, those new grandbabies. This is an engagement tool, but also I often refer to it as a redirection tool for staff. If they're upset, if they're anxious, if they're wandering.
I think Mary might have frozen a little bit. But I know that Stacie, you can address that. The redirection tool, I would imagine you were able to use it in that same capacity with your folks.
Absolutely. As Mary was saying, like agitation, anything like that, there's, just giving them the tablet and then whatever, maybe they like all the tabs, but whatever tab might lead them in the right direction. Sometimes just seeing a photo of a loved one or even pets, pets are huge. So reminding of a pet that they used to have. So seeing those photos definitely can just, you could visibly see the agitation kind of ease up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about, Stacie, the lifelong learning. Were you able to utilize any of the lifelong learning classes?
So the lifelong learning it's a great tool. So, as I mentioned, we've got caregivers who have the tablet as well. And so some of our caregivers have shared that having these opportunities available to them has just been life-changing. They maybe, caregivers rarely take time for themselves. And we know this, that's a well-known fact. And so being able to set aside time to take a course, especially if it's in person or even a web on someone else's, or not a webinar, like a web-based class that's on someone else's time, caregivers oftentimes don't feel like they can do that for themselves. So having access to these lifelong learning courses that they can do at their own pace, whenever they want to do them. And there's just such a vast variety of classes on there. I just can't speak highly enough about that.
Yeah, it's a pretty deep library and the subjects are just plentiful, that's for sure. What about, you kind of touched a little bit about this with the travel. I know sometimes, people, obviously during COVID, we weren't allowed to travel, but with the Birdsong, they could go places.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you can travel all over the world, which it's awesome. In Boston, we've obviously got a very diverse population, and for some of our folks, they might have been traveling back home. They might have been seeing pictures of where they came from or where their family came from, and just to see their faces light up from seeing familiar scenes that they might have otherwise seen, and then also just being able to go places that they might not have otherwise been able to go throughout their life through this tablet has been awesome. And I think Mary's back, and I know she's got a really good example of the travel section.
Oh, let's hear, Mary.
She's muted though.
Apologize for that. I often said throughout COVID that while other places people were stuck in their rooms, our residents were traveling around the world. And we saw, a huge decline in eating and intake throughout COVID. And so watching, food-related videos in the travel section, listening to music before meals, we saw an increase in intake. If a resident watched those preparing meals videos or meals from foreign lands, it really entice them to want to eat a little bit more and to engage. And, when you're really thinking about the study and putting that into your facilities practice, increasing cognition by 7%, it may sound small, but that's huge for those living with memory impairments and dementia. That 7% may just be enough for them to eat a little more, connect in the dining room a little bit more, connect with the staff after using the tablets. And I often tell facilities, this is a really good way of building your person-centered care plans, identifying the passions and loves of your resident, and then putting that into the care plan about music, travel, what they did for a living, their hobbies and passion. That really shows up to surveyors when they look at that care plan, and your facility has learned so much about a resident's life choices and passions. We all know that music doesn't leave the brain with dementia. So, we'd often have upbeat swing music playing in the morning, and you can see people alert and opening their eyes to see what's going on around them. And then because of sleep disturbances, in the evenings, put it on soft music, water sounds. A lot of us listen to stuff before bed. And so, expanding that to your residents is really essential in everyday life. And we saw so many people sleep better, which led to better moments and better days. And so all across the board, it's sometimes hard to engage men in some of, the crafts or the art type activities in a facility, but having them using the lifelong learning app, listening to TED Talks, listen to things that their profession included, it really engaged the residents and helped them have a quality of life and also a mission or purpose again. I know with Birdsong Tutor, that's a big deal for residents to help out the younger generation. It gave them an intense sense of purpose, which we're all striving every day for.
And it was also beneficial for the students they were helping too, and the parents as well. Because honestly, it was mutually beneficial for everyone involved. But you're right, it was great to see that happen. Anything else you guys want to talk about? All these great ways that you've utilized Birdsong? On the chart here, we can see all these wonderful ways and the success that you had throughout COVID, thanks to the Birdsong.
I think you don't really know what it has to offer until you really dive in there, and then it just seems endless. Every section has so many things that you wouldn't even remember about. I don't know, we talked too much about the reminiscence therapy and the classic TV and classic movies. Oftentimes people look for that section and go, oh, I'd forgotten about that show or that movie, and then just it really brings back great memories and they're able to watch it, and you just got to dive in.
That's true. And actually the folks who are joining us on this webinar are probably like, well, we want to see how it works. And you know what? You're right. You've been hearing all about the Birdsong and all that it can do. So now let's show you actually how it works. Take a look.
One of the most important parts of the Birdsong tablet is its communication. At Birdsong, we understand that it's important to keep our seniors connected, whether it's with their PCP or with their family. With that in mind, all of our seniors' family members gain access to our companion app, Birdsong Connect. Through the Birdsong Connect app, family members are able to talk, message, video chat, and even share timeless photos with their loved ones in a safe, secure space. The application can be downloaded seamlessly through the App Store and the Google Play Store. Our entire tablet is ADA compliant from the ground up and is designed to be easy to navigate. To start, we have a picture-based navigation system that allows seniors to find what they're looking for at a moment's glance. The font sizes are large and legible, and the icons are 4 times larger than normal iPad icons, so users always know where they are. And if at any point they want to head back to the home page, our tablets have a persistent red floating home button at the bottom of the screen, regardless of what application they've opened. Early on in our research studies, we saw that seniors would accidentally get lost in the settings and get stuck somewhere. Because of this, we implemented a lockdown kiosk mode that guarantees immersion in the experience. Our tablets are also HIPAA compliant, have end-to-end encryption, and offer secure communication. With Birdsong, you have access to over 8,000 engaging experiences, and all of which are organized behind these 6 major icons. We aim to provide content that is not only entertaining, but is also therapeutically beneficial. While you can watch modern shows through premium streaming services like Netflix and Hulu, seniors can also access their favorite classic shows and movies. Additionally, they also have access to senior-focused wellness content, such as calming sounds, exercise videos, and lifelong learning courses. Second to the humorous video content we provide, one of the most popular sections is the Lifelong Learning Academy. Here, we provide new university-level courses taught by professors every week. We have partnered with multiple universities and professors to record lectures specifically for Birdsong tablet users, with topics ranging from health and wellness to religion and politics. Our library boasts a sizable collection of audio content. You have access to music libraries spanning different genres and decades, allowing our seniors to listen to their favorite music or even find new favorites. They also have access to audiobooks and guided meditations. Research shows that just 2 weeks of daily meditation can change the structure of your brain and can increase its gray matter. This is why it's so important for seniors to have easy access to meditation content, especially beginners who have so much to gain. All the games within the Birdsong tablet are specifically designed for seniors and are all ad-free. While seniors find the games to be fun and exciting, they also reap the benefits of improved cognitive fitness. Studies show that memory games have been proven to be beneficial for the short-term and working memory of seniors, which is why we provide access to memory games, word games, card games, trivia, jigsaw puzzles, and even more. Currently, the most popular games we have are Jewel Crush and Mahjong. While family members can reach out to their loved ones through our companion app, Birdsong Connect, we have also integrated Zoom and Skype into our tablets as a tool for doctors to meet with their patients virtually. Additionally, users are also able to see photos uploaded by their loved ones through the Birdsong Connect app so that a moment is never missed. Our Explore tab offers a virtual trip to anywhere in the world. With a click of a button, users instantly gain access to various cultures around the world. It's a great opportunity for cultural enrichment and to get the feeling of traveling the world from the comfort of your own home. In addition, we also host content from the major religions in the world found in our spirituality section. It is fully customizable to fit your unique needs. For example, if your church offers live services, you can attend them through the tablet itself. This has been our most commonly used section since the start of the pandemic. We've also started Duolingo into our tablets, allowing seniors to integrate new language independently. Research has shown that learning a new language can help set back dementia by at least 5 years. Finally, we have also integrated helpful services such as Uber and grocery delivery services. If you have local helpful services, they can also be added to your tablets. Many communities also have integrated their own portals, giving their seniors access to services provided by their own communities. With the Birdsong tablet, users have the world at their fingertips. You have easy access to get to the internet through our built-in web browser, or, if it's YouTube videos you feel like watching, we have a dedicated app built into the tablet as well.
Thousands of experiences, and it's just behind those 6 simple icons. It's just so much to offer. Let's talk a little bit about, with all that it has to offer, how you can provide some smooth sailing when you're trying to implement the Birdsong, be it in a community or in home health care. So Stacie and Mary, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about how you did that? And bringing staff around is probably getting them involved has got to be a big part of it.
Well, this is Mary. So definitely, I think the staff buy-in was one of the first things that I focused on. So I started really slow by just kind of putting music on for our staff from their era. And so, within a few minutes, the staff were dancing around the nurse's station, which led to our residents laughing and dancing around with them. I would put on like the baby laughing videos, and immediately staff listening and residents were laughing and trying to see where the baby was. And so it's really important, to use different applications on the tablet to first, have the buy-in with staff. I usually tell our staff that this is like a stethoscope. Instead of for the body, it's for the mind. And so engaging our residents and keeping them cognitively functioning on a higher level than normal is, going to help you in your everyday tasks. And so I think that was a huge buy-in. We had incentives where if you could add, 3 to 5 different things about a resident that you learned this week, we had opportunities to win gas gift cards using that. And so it's really important to have that staff buy-in, but once they start seeing the benefits, then it's really easy and the ball just kept rolling after that. I know some staff are kind of reluctant to use any type of, technology. And so we did in-services and had them available for all staff to play with at, like company-wide type trainings. And some of our first really, big buy-ins for staff was with housekeeping. They'd go into a patient's room and clean for the day, but then they were learning stuff about the resident. They were putting music on for, them and the residents to listen to while they were cleaning. And so, it's really just introducing it slowly, not taking it too fast, and then showing different applications at different times. And that was a huge success when we did it that way at our facility.
Well, it sounds very successful. Let's talk, Stacie, a little bit about technical support. I know that was something that was very important to you.
For sure. I'm not the most tech savvy person out there. So finding a company that was, first of all, highly responsive, because, not being very tech savvy, I have lots of questions. I had lots of questions in the beginning, and I continue to have lots of questions. And so I'm able to reach out to, I mentioned we have a dedicated staff person. So her name is Lindsay. I'm able to reach out to her, and she knows the answer or she gets me the answer, and it happens very quickly. So the response rate of the tech support and just in general, the company has been great. We needed to look for a company that offered their own tech support. Our agency, we just didn't feel like our own technology department could support users out in the community calling in saying, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that. So in looking at the many different options out there and seeing that Birdsong offers their own tech support, and it's at the touch of a button on the device itself or through a phone number, and you can just call and ask questions, be talked through things, that's huge. We were also looking at the different technologies out there, and this one being cloud-based has, that's a selling point in itself, because simple things like an update that could be more difficult on other devices, this is just pushed right through the device. And for all intents and purposes, the user doesn't even know that it was happening. So that, that's great. And then there's no need to implement your own servers. So by Birdsong taking all that off of your plate, it just allows you to focus on other things. And, one of those things being they've got this administrative backend, which is a great tool for us as the people kind of overseeing the product for our companies to be able to use. It's, you can take a look at the usage of the devices as a whole. You can narrow it down to a group or individual. I mean, you can look at who's using what, and if it's not being used, what's going on there? What can we do to help? What do you just not know how to use it? Do you need some training? So we can really just kind of drill down to where the deficits are, where the strong points are. Maybe we can match people up that are really great at using it with people who aren't so strong with using it. And it's just really beneficial to be able to see that usage. And I know Mary has some experience with that as well.
Mary, do you want to speak to that?
Tablets, having the implementation model and the tech support is really, really important for our facility, because we're kind of limited on the tech support that we have here. And so there's manuals to help you. There's educational videos to show you and your staff how to use that. And it's the train the trainer program. You can have someone at your facility trained, and then they go around and train the, employees throughout the facility. So it's really important, to start it off right and not to push it too much on staff, that they have to do this or have to do that. And, there's the customizable interface where you can put, your picture or your facility's logo or picture on the front of the Birdsong tablet. And so when your residents are looking at it, it's familiar. They're connecting with it even more. And so it's not, a faraway object that they don't really recognize. And so that was one of the things that we did here. And then you can customize it for each and every tablet. There's residents that get really anxious with too many choices. And so you can go on the internet and customize each and every tablet or all of your tablets, with certain things. I started adding things slowly, and just exploring different things without pushing on a tab and having a whole bunch of choices. There was limited choices at the beginning, and now there's more choices for the residents. And I think as time goes by, you'll see what staff are really engaging with this tablet and what residents are. And so sometimes it was an opportunity to have another resident learn from a resident, or a resident learn from staff member that, really likes this thing on the tablet. Maybe it's the travel program or a certain game. And so that's a really good way to connect your residents with the staff, and start those really valuable connections day by day. But, I was reluctant at first because I don't, like Stacie, I'm, not the most savvy in the tech world, but they really make it super easy. And one of their ladies that works for the tech, she always messages me with the new things that are on the tablet. And so it's pushing that out to staff. And the activities department, this is a way for your activities department also to have reliable subjects and topics and music, for them to have an engaging activity with the residents. So, sometimes it's thinking outside the box, sometimes it's customizing it to your facility. And then, throughout COVID, we started introducing them in the independent living and at home world, so if someone's living at home, this is a way, to connect them. Most people love all the different, musical performances, and there's performances on the Birdsong that are virtual, so your residents can still enjoy that without allowing visitors into the facility.
And Mary, you talked a little bit about custom.
I think you just have to see it for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things you brought up that was important, I know, is content customization. You talked about that for a little while, about how important that was to kind of tailor the tablets when you found out your community's unique needs and its culture. You really could help in all departments. You could tailor it, and it was able to give you a way to add and remove content, websites, and other services, really in a fast, easy method. Plus, the fact that the technology is cloud-based, so changes are made immediately. I know that's important to you, Stacie, as well as analytics that you can get, correct?
For sure, definitely. I talked a little bit about the administrative backend and running reports, and you can run them in real time. You don't have to wait for somebody else to run a report for you, and the data might be a day or two old. Like, this is actual data from right now, which is, and then, we can look at it, as I mentioned, globally, or we can drill it down to one individual tablet and the individual usage within that tablet. So there's a lot of options in the analytics section to be able to really see how our users are benefiting.
Yeah, and you can analyze from a community level all the way down to each user's data, which, as you mentioned, is really key. And being able to review their activity, their frequency of use, and what apps they're using. So that not only helps, the family as well as the caregivers to know, oh, I know that, somebody, Betty Sue likes this. Let's make sure we put that on her tablet, those kinds of things and those kinds of connections. That definitely, those analytics help. Also the onboarding, the easy premium implementation and the support. I know for both of you, Stacie, you admitted you're not tech savvy. I know, but that was really important for you guys.
Definitely. There's just a lot of different training options to get onboarded with the tablets. First at the level of me being the person who's going to roll these out to my agency. They offer trainings via YouTube videos. You can print stuff out if you're more of a hands-on type of person. They offer one-to-one training, virtual training, in groups. There's an instructions tab right on the tablet. So just many different ways to get that training. And then, as I said, just asking lots of questions, because I definitely did that.
And I know Mary it was helpful for her as well, the ease and the implementation and the expansion of the Birdsong uses in your community, correct, Mary?
Definitely. And we're in a very small town, so Wi-Fi was a big concern for us. And so we had to do like a couple hotspots in certain areas, but, really the administrative side of things, you can really figure out with the analytics, what residents to connect to other residents. Are they playing Mahjong? Are there two residents playing Mahjong a lot? And so, maybe there's a game that we can connect them on. And so, there's always that concern, are your staff going to be using Facebook or Instagram on the tablets? And you can take those off. That's what I did at the beginning. And usually when you tell staff they're being monitored, they're not going to do anything that they shouldn't anyway. And so, it's just so beneficial to have that support, and also just the guidance of, am I doing this right? Can I do anything different? The administrators at Birdsong can really help you identify what could be done a little bit different or better at your facility.
And always there to help you. So, all right. Thank you very much, Mary. I appreciate that. All right. So now you've heard a little bit of the Birdsong. Let's ask everyone a question. We have a question for you. Okay. So how satisfied are you with your current senior engagement technology platform? So it's not a tough question. It's a pretty easy question. And you were able to just pop up on the screen and answer. And if you did not answer satisfied, well, guess what? Then you need to discover the many benefits of the Birdsong, many of you that you've heard about here today. So let's check in now with Ben Uncle. He is the CEO of Westminster Canterbury and Chesapeake Bay, and he's going to tell us more about the benefits of Birdsong.
By now you understand what a difference Birdsong technology can make in the lives of your patients, the quality of life that it can deliver. Now I'd like to talk to you about ways in which it can be paid for and extra margins that your organization can earn from having Birdsong technology. Particularly if you deliver health services to your residents or to your patients, there are paths to pay for this technology, particularly when you bundle it with our partnerships for remote patient monitoring. The benefits of monitoring patients' health status remotely through the Birdsong tablet are financial and qualitative. For instance, we know that it reduces rehospitalization and hospitalization rates by 10%. Those of you in the business know what a difference that makes for your Medicare reimbursement. It reduces hospitalization because you can keep your eyes on the patients at all times. You can use the healthcare data from the remote patient monitoring that flows through the Birdsong tablet to your team to improve the outcomes of your care. And in a capitated world with Medicare, that makes a huge difference to your profitability. And you can get notifications when those metrics are out of range and when you need to spend the money on human or labor interaction to adjust the results. It's making a big difference, remote patient monitoring through the Birdsong tablet, on outcomes. And the government is taking notice, because if we keep people out of the hospital and we give them better care with less expensive direct labor, it saves the taxpayers money. So Medicare is reimbursing now $165 per patient per month for Birdsong technology with remote patient monitoring. And for 12 months, that amounts to $1,980 a year. So you can earn 20 to 30% margin on this technology if you are using it in conjunction with the health services that you deliver through Medicare reimbursements. Now, there are additional revenue paths on top of that or in addition to that. There's upsell opportunities for you if you're treating and caring for and providing social services for residents. You can offer your patients a technology bundle as an upsell that they pay for privately. We've seen 20% margins on our Birdsong technology with about 60% adoption, which turns into real money for larger organizations and larger home care and home health agencies. You get increased quality and ROI. At the same time, better patient satisfaction, reduced hospitalizations leads to more referrals and lower hospitalization as a flywheel that leads to more return on investment. The average return on investment for all acuity levels in healthcare with the Birdsong Technology Remote Patient Bundle is 260% or a ROI of 2.6. It's even higher for the high-risk patients where it makes an even greater difference, and the ROI is 4.6 or 460% for those high-risk patients. So if you're picking the best overall technology solution for residents or patients in senior living or particularly a healthcare delivery setting, you're going to want to pick the best solution that gives the most overall return in terms of both quality and finances. You're going to look for systems that have caregiver interaction like remote patient monitoring, easy to make video calls to and from the tablet, voice calls, email, photo sharing, all that caregiver and family interaction. You're going to want the mental stimulation and fun that comes with ad-free memory games, music therapy, exercise program, lifelong learning lectures, things that respect the adulthood of your patients and residents and that are easily accessible based on their interests, whether it be academic interests or music interests. You want all of the things for them to pick from. And then for social interaction, we have the ability to make a family and a friends whitelist where only certain people can reach the tablet to protect family members or to protect your loved ones. And we make that easy to do and set up. It reduces social isolation by making the communication easy. And we can give you data on the increase in social interaction. Finally, you want to choose a technology solution that is safe and secure and that does not create frustration for the older adult, but rather is a confidence builder. That's why all of our Birdsong technology is ad-free and compliant with ADA design standards. We can block destinations, and our technology starts up in a kiosk lockdown mode, always with a persistent red home button so that you can shut down anything and start at the beginning. And when you turn it on, you can have it be completely logged in, and so that all you do is turn the power on and you're at the opening screen. And when you go somewhere and you want to go back, you push the red home button and you're back home. Those are the things that make a difference. Affordable, simple to use, but with plenty of rich and varied content so that they can do the things that are most fun and important to them. Your patient, your resident, our customer. Thank you for joining our webinar. You can tell that this technology and this project is a passion project of mine because there are so many people whose mind or body restricts the scope of their world. And this engagement technology, remote patient monitoring technology, busts through all that, and it becomes a window on the world for people to re-engage, feel free, and be boundless, even if their mind or their body has started to put boundaries upon them in terms of the varied enjoyment of their life experience, this just creates a window on the world that busts all that wide open. And it's the right thing to do, and it can be the profitable thing to do. And it's nice when those go hand in hand, but I care much more about changing the enjoyment, the joy and wellness of people who are already saddled with things that are tough to bear. If we can make it better and easier and return more joy and wellness to life, that's why we're a part of the Birdsong initiative, and that's why we created Birdsong Technology. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this webinar.
And thank you, Ben, for showing us the many benefits of the Birdsong. It is definitely a passion project of yours, and it's so exciting to see all the differences it's making in people's lives every day. All right, well, now you heard the benefits. Now let's talk about who won our grand prize. So what is the grand prize? Well, the grand prize for all of you who are being a part of today's webinar, you are eligible for the grand prize of one free tablet with 1 year subscription. This can be for your organization. And the winner is Jennifer Kelly with Winstead Senior Center. So Jennifer Kelly, congratulations on winning our grand prize of one free tablet and 1 year subscription for your organization. That's wonderful. Congrats. Now, if you did not win, because I know we've got a lot of people on the webinar today, there are still other prizes. So you might not have won the grand prize, but you all are still a winner. So what you can do is schedule a demo today to qualify for a free first month subscription for all the tablets that are purchased. So you can do that today. If you can win that if you schedule your demo today. Now, if you are not sure and you want to think about it and you schedule your demo by next Thursday, October 14th, well, then you will qualify for $50 off each subscription per tablet. So you've got a chance if you just schedule those demos, either get it done by today and you can win the free first month subscription, or if you do it by next Thursday, you can get $50 off each subscription per tablet. So if you want to learn more or you would like to schedule a demo, you can see the QR code that is right there on your screen. All you need to do is scan that QR code and it will take you to the link you need to go to, or there's the link right there below as well that you can jot down and schedule a demo and get started on implementing Birdsong technology in your community or through your center. So hopefully we've given you a lot of great information today. And I know that Stacie and Mary have definitely given us a lot of insight on how the Birdsong is helping their community. I also know that you all had a lot of questions. So I know that you put them in the Q&A section, so if everybody, and you can scroll through and see them. We are very close to the end of this webinar, and I want to be conscious of your time, and everybody's very busy, but I'll try to answer a couple of them. If you do not get answered during the webinar, one of our Birdsong folks will get back with you, and you will get your questions answered. So please know that. But let's take a look at some of the questions that have come in. One of the questions we have here, can one play videos on Birdsong? The answer to that is yes. Birdsong comes preloaded with thousands of videos of thousands of videos. You can also customize it and add additional videos. Next question was, how big is the split screen? That's a good question if one calls one's parents via the web. So the tablet screen size is 10 inches. Now in a split screen, half of the tablet is the Birdsong tablet user and the other half is family members. So that's like 5 inches, I guess, that each person gets on the screen. So it's big enough to see. So does the Birdsong app accommodate Skype, Vimeo, and Facebook Live video apps? The answer to that is yes. Birdsong does accommodate all of those apps and other Android apps. So that's important to note as well. Another question we have here is, can an adult child purchase this device or service to communicate with his or her parents in a dementia unit remotely, or does that present some sort of privacy or safety or other issues? And that answer is yes. Birdsong comes with a Birdsong Connect app that adult children can use to connect with loved ones. So that is some great information. These are some great questions that everyone is asking. And let's see, can one attend or broadcast to a parent a simple small Bible study with a parent via the web remote, or do you have to be a a big church service broadcasting by the church. So the answer is yes, you can simply broadcast or share Bible study with the tablet user using the Birdsong Connect app. So you are able to do that. And I know that it is now 3 o'clock, and I do want to be conscious of your time. We do have some other questions, but as I mentioned, the Birdsong folks, we will get back to each and every one of you who have sent us a question. We will make sure that we get your questions answered. And again, if you do schedule your demo, you can win those great prizes that we talked about. So be sure to remember to do that. And again, Jennifer Kelly, congratulations on winning the grand prize. And Stacie and Mary, thank you both so much for sharing your insight and the ways that you are using Birdsong technology to engage seniors. So we really appreciate your time for being with us. And thank you all for being with us. I'm Sandra Parker. I hope you have a great rest of your day.